Hey, it's Paul Argiro with 12 Penny Exteriors, your local window depot. I'm really excited about today. I'm going to give you guys a lesson in energy efficiency and what does it mean. I talk about triple pane products, I talk about energy efficiency doors, but what can you actually expect when you put in a high quality window or door? Today, we're going to give you that answer. All right, so when I put windows and doors in your house, I have no idea what kind of insulation is in the house. And how we make our home energy efficient is insulation in the walls, and you put in high quality windows and doors. In a perfect world, if there was such a thing as infinity insulation, you'd heat your house up once and you'd never lose any heat. You'd never have to turn your heat on again. We don't live in that world. We live in a world where we're going to have heat loss through the walls, through the windows, through the doors. When you open up the front door to go outside, when you open up the garage door to go outside, you're going to have heat loss. So your heat's going to kick on. The key is that heat kicking on less because your energy efficient windows and doors and your walls are keeping the heat in. So if it's 21 degrees outside, feels like 15, and the temperature is at 62 and the inside ambient air temperature is 66, I would hope the wall would be about a 10-degree difference. That would be a lot. So let's take a look. If I point my heat gun at the wall, and I got to find insulation on a 2x4, it's about 58.6 degrees. That is great. So it's about a 3-degree difference between the inside air temperature, actually 8 degrees. It's 66, 8 degrees. That's pretty good. Now what about this door, right? This door is not a wall. If I point it at this ProVia door, oh my God, I get 59.2. It's actually doing better than the wall. Oh, you know what, Paul? What about this glass on the side? It's a lot of glass. What's that doing? Well, let's take a look. If I point at the glass, it goes down a little bit, 57.9, almost as good as the wall. But this is glass. This is triple pane glass. That's why it's very energy efficient. But, all right, Paul, you're not being fair. You're pointing it right at the center of the door. That's where the most insulation is. Okay, fair enough. Where doors, I don't want to say the word fail, but this gasket all around, that's where I would expect the most heat loss, especially lower. Heat rises, right? So down here, I would expect this to be a lower number. Let's take a look. I'm going to point it right at the corner. 54, 52.7, call it 52. That's not bad. You're like, Paul, that's really cold. 52 is actually really not bad. Now let's see what happens if I raise the gun up. If I raise the gun up, it gets warmer. Of course it's going to get warmer. As I go up, 52, 54. As I get higher, 56, 56. This door is doing a really good job around the edges. Really great job. I see 56. That's what I like to see. Around a 10-degree difference than inside the house. Overall, this door, 58. If I go lower on the panel, it goes down in temperature by a little bit. If I come over here, 56.8. This door, only a 10-degree difference. At 21 degrees outside, feels like 15. The house is at 66. This is 56 degrees. That is a really, really, really good door. Glass door, almost better than the wall. Like I said, the wall itself is around 58. The trim, 58. So that whoever installed this door, it was us. We did a really good job of putting foam around the insulation around the trim. That's the door. Now, let's talk about windows next. These two double hung windows are on the same plane as that door. I just want to see how they're doing in terms of efficiency. Now, double hung windows, I'll tell you, are a little bit less efficient than a picture window, than a casement window. Still really good, but there's a lot of seals going on. There's a center line here. Let's see how it's doing, long and shorter. So I got my heat gun. I'm going to tell you what the numbers are. Okay, if I point at the wall again was reading. In here, it's 60.3 degrees. If I go to the trim, it's 60.6 degrees, a little bit warmer than the wall. At the window seam, it's 54 degrees. If I go to the trim, it's going up to 56. The glass itself is 60.6 degrees on the glass. On the meeting rail, it drops down about 58.5. And the top glass, it's rising in temperature, 61.9, 61.2. This window is performing a little bit better than the door. And I kind of would expect that. It's a smaller size. We've got triple pane glass. Still very close. I think the door is like 58 degrees. This is 60 degrees. Before we leave, one thing I want to talk to you guys about real quick. I don't know if Emily can get this photograph or not. If you're really concerned about drafts and where your heat loss is, check your outlets and stuff on the outside wall. Electricians do a really poor job of insulating these boxes, and insulation companies don't do it. So if I point my gun at this outlet, 51.4. Now, if I go just to the right of it, it jumps up to about 58 degrees. So all these outlets, if there's no insulation in these outlets, these are a big heat loss in homes. So you might have 4 or 5 outlets in your outside wall. Just, you might want to take the covers off, throw some insulation in there if you can. Please don't get electrocuted. Shut the breaker off before you do it. Hope that's helpful. Let's go to the next window real quick. This window was installed by 12 Penny Exteriors, your local window depot, during this huge, gorgeous kitchen renovation. To give you a little background, I've got a double hung window, I've got a picture window, and I've got another double hung window. This is all one unit from the factory. Now, as a window geek, I know that the picture window should be more efficient than the double hungs. They're still going to be really, really energy efficient. They're all triple pane windows. Let's take a look. Let's put this to the test. Like I said, it's 21 degrees, feels like 15. What now? When I put my hand to it, yeah, it feels kind of cool, but not terrible. Let's put the gun to it. Let's see what's going to happen. Is it going to perform better than the door? Wow, 58 degrees on the glass itself. If I move it to the frame, I would expect the frame to get a little bit colder, 56.3. The middle of the frame, 57, doing great. Uh-oh, what's going to happen? That's the edge of the double hung. That's a trouble spot. No, 55.6, really good. If I go to the glass on the double hung, 58, 58. If I raise it up, heat's going to rise, 57, 57, 57. This window is 58 roughly degrees on a house that's 62 right now. That's only a 4-degree difference. That's amazing. Now, let's test the trim and let's test the wall where the cabinets are. I'm going to move my gun over. The trim itself, because we foamed everything, it's 59 degrees on the trim. Let's go to the wall. The wall is 58 degrees. The wall and the window are performing pretty much identically. That's great. Because in the wall, because she's got 2x6 construction, she should have about R19 in the walls, I hope. That means my window is performing just as well as these thick insulated walls. That's awesome. Now, what's nice about this house is she's got some double pane windows that we can compare the double pane windows to these triple pane windows. Let's take a look. Okay, so now we're in a 4-season porch. This is insulated on the floors, the ceiling. This is as part of the house. Same insulation, same heat sources, great. So let's take a look. What are the walls doing in this room? Wow, 63. It's actually warmer in this room than the main part of the house. They do have a lot of baseboard on the 2 exterior walls. Now these are casement windows. And casement windows, again, should perform better than a double hung. They're not going to perform as well as a picture window because we still have a seal all around the window. These are casement windows, I believe, from Anderson. I think they're dual pane. I'm not sure how old they are. I'm going to guess about 15, 20 years old. Let's see how these dual pane windows are going to stack up against our triple pane. Let's take a look. All right, big test. So the wall, like we said, is 63. The trim goes down to 61.9, pretty good. The window itself, 56, 56, 56. So there's about a 7-8 degree difference between the window and the wall. Why? Dual pane. You know, there's not as much low E, there's not as much argon in between. Still doing pretty well though for a casement window, and I would expect the casement windows to do really good around the edges, which it is. 60 degrees, that's great. As we go up, it's going to get warmer because heat rises. So this window is actually not doing bad for dual pane. If it was a triple pane, this window would be a lot closer to the temperature of the wall. So we have a dual pane casement window against the wall versus our triple pane. It's not really a fair fight, but overall, they're doing pretty well. Now, what's the test on these windows? These are picture windows, and these are huge. Look how big these windows are. Let's take a look. We know the temperature in the house is about 62.4 degrees in the room. Let's take a look. The trim, 59 degrees, not bad. The glass is staying 57.8, 57, 57. That's not bad. Again, a picture window should perform better than a casement window, better than a double hung. If they were triple pane, they'd be even more energy efficient. But overall, if this homeowner said to me, should I change these windows? I might be hesitant. I'm like, well, you get a lot of beautiful glass here. It's really not that big of a change. Yeah, you gain some energy efficiency, but these aren't fogging up. They're still performing really well. And I kind of bring this gun along for the ride just to show people how their windows are doing. If you got single pane windows like my sister does, we got to talk. So anyways, we got dual pane windows. We have triple pane windows. Hopefully this is giving you kind of an overview of how to make your house more efficient. There's no such thing as 1,000% efficiency. You are going to have heat loss. It's just a matter of time. I will tell you anecdotally, this homeowner uses about 1 less tank of oil every single winter. And we've had the coldest winter in New England since 2003. Hey, I know we covered a lot of information here and I kind of went fast. So if you have any questions, give us a call, invite us to your house. I can come give a quick energy assessment. I'm not officially licensed by the state to do it, but I can bring this handy heat gun. We can kind of see how your walls are performing, how your current windows and doors are performing, if it's cold or hot. If it's a really hot day, you want to keep all that hot air outside. If it's a really cold winter, you want to keep the cold air outside. We've got ways we could actually help improve the insulation in your house if you have poor insulation. And we got ways we can help with your, obviously, your windows and doors and give the best advice we can for you and your situation. Again, it's Paul Argiro with 12 Penny Exteriors, your local window depot. Thanks for watching and have a great day.